All right, let's get into some of the action. If you now, I listen to Big Man on Basketball. I do it in like two parts. Monday I listen to the Monday stuff, and then when he gets into the Tuesday games, I listen to that on Tuesday. And it's funny because Jeff texted me today as I was listening to the Big Man on Basketball pod, getting ready for tonight's card. Yesterday's card was a little light, but a good one today. Jeffrey, how are you? Do you go by Jeffrey at all?
Yeah, my family calls me it.
Is that like a parent thing?
My sister.
Yeah, like the family.
Yeah. I mean,
I get Michael from my parents.
I have a few friends that call me it. I don't mind though. Usually girls, women I'm dating, that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
But yeah, if like a friend of mine called me it, I wouldn't be into that.
Right. So it's like my mom will say Michael. Like I'll get the full name for that. All right. Well, we got some. I want to get into some of the hoops tonight because I think it's a really good card. And Big Man on Basketball on the pod, you guys got into a couple of games that I think our listeners are going to be interested in. So let's start with a little hoops tonight. What do you say? And we go. Let's start with this. Iowa North Carolina game, which I think some of our listeners might be interested in. North Carolina, one of those teams that people regionally like, everybody in the area. If you don't have a college you went to, you might like North Carolina. So they might not know as much about Iowa here, but this is a very interesting play. North Carolina getting 3.5.
Yeah, I think this is a tough game because I was obviously a good team. I think they're a little overvalued coming into the season. I didn't have them in the top 10. A lot of people did. I think Garza's terrific, but the truth of the matter right now is they haven't played anybody. Now they got to play a team that I think could come at Garza in waves. You look at a guy like Brooks or Baycott, Deron Sharp. They have some guys that I think could do something against him as far as you're never going to really hold him in the check. But if he gets in foul trouble, then all of a sudden I was just an average basketball team. I'm not going to say they're a one-man show, but I'm also going to say that I don't trust them defensively. I don't think their coach is a particularly strong guy mentally. He can kind of erupt at certain points. I think, Carolina's a little undervalued, but I don't think they're a better team than Iowa. I still kind of lean Iowa, but I don't have much in this game. These games are tough because the lines are usually so on point. But I have the feeling Roy Williams has something to throw at Luka Garza. And I get to, I think the line's right, 3. That's probably where I'd put it. So I think it's fair.
All right. What about another big one? Obviously, Duke. Everybody into Duke. It's 4. I thought this number was pretty good. Illinois, a lot of people, again, might not know a lot about the Fighting Illini, but they all think Duke. I think this is a bad Duke team.
Well, you and a lot of other people, but at the end of the day, they're Duke. They're still a team that's right on the fringe of being a top 10 team. And look, they're going to win this game tonight. They're going to win it by margin. Just pretty simple. I've seen this story time and time again in these kind of games where the whole world likes the dog. Look, I thought Duke should be a 4.5, 5-point favorite here. They're 3.5, and the lines went up when the whole world's in Illinois. That's a stone-cold play that Duke's the side here. I think Duke probably wins this game 78-68, something like that. We have to remember, Mike, Illinois is a team that I do like. I think they're a good team. I think they're going to get challenged to win the Big Ten and make a run in March. But the truth of the matter is they have played North Carolina A&T, Chicago State, who's the second-worst team in the country, and a team in Ohio who they finally played a team that meant and mattered, and they barely beat them. And then they got beat up by Baylor. So, yeah, I've seen this story before. Illinois still, I think, has shooting issues. They turn the ball over too much. I would be on Duke here.
All right, let's look at one that's a little bit more in your wheelhouse here as well. These are the sneaky plays, the ones that people don't pay enough attention to where you get great value. Marquette, 24, opened up at 24, down to 20.5 against Green Bay. And I know this is a game that you like as well.
Yeah, I played the first half here, minus 11.5. I could see a situation where Marquette maybe leaves their foot off the gas a little bit or something, but I really don't care about the full game. I'm looking at Marquette early here. This is a game where, they had a couple of days after the big win against Wisconsin, and you can kind of build on it now. This is a Marquette team that has a very good front line. Jamal Cain, Dawson Garcia, Theo John, not only are they good offensively, but they're even better defensively. They're starting to get some really good play out of DJ Carton, the Ohio State transfer. They have beaten and battered two bad teams this year in Pine Bluff and Eastern Illinois. And I've talked glowingly bad about how bad Green Bay is. I think this is a bad basketball team. They've given up 82 or more in all three games this year, including 90 or more in twice this season. They don't stop anybody. They don't have any talent. They can't shoot the ball, and they're very small. I think they get destroyed here early. I think Marquette comes out like they have in most games this year and playing well. I think this is probably like a 45, 25 type of game in the first half. I think 11.5 is just too low, even 12. Too low.
All right, Jeff Nadu, Barstool Sports, big man on campus. His podcast is Big Man on Basketball. He goes deep into so much stuff. You learn so much just by listening to the pod. It's fantastic. Another team, you mentioned Green Bay not being very good. We've talked a lot about Mississippi Valley State. I look at a line at 44.5 against Memphis and wonder, wow, are they that bad? I've
probably watched every Mississippi Valley State game this year. And, it's kind of a shame because their coach is Lindsey Hunter. He was a good player in the NBA for a lot of years with the Detroit Pistons. His son is on this team. And, it was a job that I didn't quite understand why he took it. I think he obviously has some connections down to that area. But this is a horrific basketball team. They're the worst team in the country, and it's not close. This is a group that lost by 80 this year to Arkansas. And you can make a case, Mike, that Memphis is the best team they're going to play this year. A thing about Memphis you have to remember, they're very long, they're very athletic. I think they're going to punish Mississippi Valley in this game. The thing about Memphis you like is they're fast. They play with a lot of tempo. They're going to score at will in this game. Probably hit 110, 120. But Mississippi Valley State has gotten pounded in the first half this season. They're generally in games where it's like 27-4, 27-2. I had this one at like 55-19, 55-22, something like that. I laid the first half. I think 25's fair. It's a lot of points, but I think Memphis lets their hair down here and really controls it from start to finish. Should fill it up here. I think really any way you look at it, you could go full game. You could go first half. I think first half's the best play. You go team total over.
Say team
total.
total.
I think they get into the 110s here.
Yeah, team total Memphis.
Yeah, team total.
All right, the podcast Big Man. Yep, go ahead. What's it? 115?
I could see 115.
All right. The podcast Big
That's
Man.
That's what I could see them doing. I don't. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're talking over each other.
Well, you know more than I do about this topic.
Go ahead.
The podcast is Big Man on Basketball. Tomorrow morning, it drops at 9 a.m. Apple Pod. I listen on Google Pod, by the way, because I'm a Google kind of guy. Do you have what games tomorrow you guys are going to be hitting on in the pod so people can check them out? Or do you not have them planned out yet?
Yeah, haven't done the rundown just yet. One game we're definitely probably going to get into is Northern Iowa and Richmond, a game that for the mid-major people is going to be fun. Michigan State, Virginia, that'll be a good one. Maybe Oklahoma, Xavier. We have some games. We're probably going to do a lot of Wednesday games. It's a pretty solid card. Loyola's on Loyola Chicago. They're an interesting team. Remember Sister Jean a couple of years ago. They haven't played yet. They had some COVID issues, so they're going to be a team that I'm pretty interested in. They're very good. I like Loyola Chicago. So there'll be plenty of games for tomorrow.
Yep. All right. Make sure you check that out. The pod drops Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 9 a.m. Barstool Sports, and of course wherever you get your podcasts at Apple, Google, Spotify, the whole 9 yards. All right. We got some college football coming down to the wire. Now, we had some wonkiness going on with this Ohio State because that game is now out. I know a lot of people would have been interested in that one. But I want to get your take on my Mountaineers playing Oklahoma here. They got bombed last week by Iowa State, so I see that number is now going all the way up to 14 in some spots. And I wonder, West Virginia at home getting 2 touchdowns has any value for you?
Yeah, they were kind of disappointing. Well, not kind of disappointing. They were very disappointing on Saturday. I don't know what that performance was against Iowa State. I don't know what's happened. I mean, for whatever reason, West Virginia can't just move the ball right now. And you haven't really been running the ball real effectively. But this is a spot where I would expect a better performance. I think a lot of people are going to come in and jump on Oklahoma. But one thing we have to remember, West Virginia, as you know, very good secondary, good defense. And Oklahoma can be beaten through the air, and I think Doge has to be much better this week. But this is really where West Virginia is. They're a team that's kind of struggled to get out of the 20s. That's kind of where they are now. They're a totally different team, I think, than we remember. But that's what happens when you change coaches. Dana Holgerson, we know what kind of coach he was. If you know anything about Neil Brown, when he was at Troy, this is the kind of teams he had. Good defensive teams, generally a pretty good quarterback, and they're going to win a lot of 27, 24 type of games. That's what West Virginia is. But they're going to have to obviously bounce back here. They're at home, though, so it should be a better situation for them. And, I'm going to be looking to take the boatload of points here with the home dog.
Yeah, in on Army-Navy. It's a 7-point it's gone up to 7. It started at 5.
Yeah, always a game that, always I like to watch. I actually really like both teams. But the Army is just better defensively. I think they have the better skill position players. Navy kind of going through some things this year with a new quarterback and just have kind of struggled to move the ball, whether it's Dallin Morris or Arline. They just don't have that Keenan Reynolds type of quarterback, which they'll get. They lost Malcolm Perry as well. So, I would lean with the Army. I think they take care of business here.
All right, that's a look at some of the early stuff this weekend. Of course, a full NFL card. Jeff and I on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock, we go deeper into the NFL, deeper into that college football card. Listen to Big Man on Basketball. Make sure you check that out. And he gave you some good plays for tonight as well. It's a pretty good card tonight in the college basketball. Tomorrow's pretty good, too. Yesterday was kind of although, what was that last night? East Carolina, was that yesterday?
Yes.
That East Carolina game. They're a horrific team, by the way, but that was a good play by you on the over. And make sure you follow at Jeff Nadu. Has great material, good stuff for you guys, and the podcast Big Man on Basketball.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, bud.
I will say that is a handicapping surgery that I gave you last night on that game. Go back and listen to my breakdown on that game. It went exactly how I told you ago. That's what you get with me that you don't get with anyone else. I'm going to tell you one other thing. The Dallas Cowboys are going to get pounded tonight by the Baltimore Ravens. I like the first half in this game, Mike. The Dallas Cowboys have the worst rushing defense in the NFL. Lamar's back. You got some defensive players back. I think this is I really like this price. 5.5 in the first half. Baltimore's going to be up by 10.
5.5, first half, Baltimore. There you go. There's another quick play for you. Great stuff, man. I always enjoy watch the videos. Jeff does a great job. I mean, people that have started to watch your stuff, that listen to the show, that have come across, they're just like, I can't believe some of the stuff that you pull out, man. You do a great job.
Oh.
So, yep.
Mike, that's so funny. I'm glad you mentioned that. Do you have a time for a quick point I wanted to make?
Sure thing.
I have a friend. Called Donnie Rightside. A lot of people might know him. He's from the South Jersey area. Goes to Brigantine a lot. It's funny. He reached out to me on Saturday and he said, "You'll never believe what my stepfather sent me." And he doesn't know that. I guess he didn't know Donnie knew me, but he sent me and said, "You'll never believe this guy, Big Man on campus. He's unbelievable on the radio down there." And Donnie said, yeah, I know he is. He's a good handicapper. But he didn't know that Donnie knew me. But, yeah, I get people all the time. Hey, I heard you on the show with Mike, and I really appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for having me on, and you're very kind with the kind words.
Hey, I don't do this for everybody. Only people that I like and that I think they do a good job, and I think you do a good job. Otherwise, people are just out there, doing their thing. You do a good job, man. That's all honesty. So I appreciate you taking,
Mike.
I
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
you taking the time, and make sure you listen to Big Man on Basketball tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., Friday morning at 9 a.m. All right, man, we will do our Saturday thing, pal.
Sounds good, Mike. Look forward to it.
Jeff Nadu, Big Man on Campus, Big Man on Basketball.